is going on, everybody? Welcome to podcast episode 52. Going to be joined today by Lazar, Lucky Pavlovic, the carrier sales master from US Expediters. Just before we get into today's show, we got to go through the efrouting top hauls of the week. Coming in at number one on dry van, going to be a Los Angeles Cali down to Atlanta. Coming in almost $3 a mile. So, I mean, historically for Cali to Atlanta, it's actually not even a bad rate, to be honest. We got a San Diego over to Baltimore, 2.2 to 2.7 almost. So, I mean, again, I guess the West is looking pretty good because rates like that weren't really around a couple months ago. Coming into the reefer side, we got Chicago to Allentown coming in at 2.9 to 3.6. Nothing special there, but solid freight. Got a Lafayette over to Philly, coming at 2.9 to 3.6 again. Again, going northeast, you're going to see some nice rates. Flatbed, we got Ohio to Baltimore, 2.9 to 3.2, pretty solid lane average. And another Akron to Allentown, we're at 3.7 to 4.5, so that's a pretty solid one. Best loop for dry van, going to start out in Lafayette, over to Baltimore, over to Findlay, back to Philadelphia, Dayton, and Milwaukee. Full work week, anywhere between 6 to almost 10 grand on the gross, over $2 on the low end, well over 3 on the high end. Dry van's doing pretty good. On the reefer, we got a Philly to Akron. Then you go over to Baltimore, Chicago, Lafayette, end up back in Philly. Again, a full work week, 6.5 to almost 7 grand for a reefer. You hope to see a little bit more. And best loop for flatbed starting out of Atlanta over to Auburn, Alabama, Lafayette, Akron, Chicago, back to Atlanta. Again, a normal work week, 6.1 to 7.5 on the gross, nothing special. Let's get into today's show, though. What's going on, man?
Hey, Alex. How you doing?
Hey, I wasn't going to do this, but I have to do it. So we had some technical issues. 720p quality has been accepted, so I'm happy to have you here in almost full quality, but full clarity.
Glad to be here as well, yeah.
All right, man, let's get right into it. How did you get into logistics? What was your first job and what was it?
Yeah, I'll be quite honest with you. It's actually a funny story. Back in, I believe that was like 2021, I was working some real estate deals and one of them went bad. So I ended up, without a job and living with my
How bad
girlfriend.
did it go? What was the deal and what happened?
Well, yeah, I was screwed over for a lot of money. I'll leave it at that. So
we'll leave it at that. So you screwed up
yeah,
a real estate deal, and how did
yeah,
you get into trucking from that?
yeah. So I was actually talking to one of my friends, and I told him, "Listen, man, I need a job that pays well and fast," because I was living with my girlfriend at the time. We were like both unemployed, and I had the rent to pay. So
This guy
bills
said, I
came
need a job
stacking
that
up.
pays good and fast, bro. I'm surprised you didn't become a drug dealer, bro.
Yeah, never, never. And then and he told me, "Oh, did you hear about trucks in America, stuff like that pays well now?" I said, "Yeah, like hook me up with someone." And then in CW Carriers, there was a guy who worked before, and he was like, I met him a couple of times before that, and we went for a drink, and he told me, "Oh, your English is like really good. I see that you're a sales guy. Let me hook you up with them." So there was an interview I had with them. 2 weeks later, I went with my last man in my pocket. I dressed up in a suit and everything, and
I'm not
went.
sure if you're having audio problems or if it's me now.
I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, it's me. It's completely me, which is fine. We're gonna go no headphones. So sorry if anybody gets the echo. So maybe I was messing around with you. Maybe it was just my headphones, man. So, anyways, we're gonna run it like this. All right. So you got into CW on the brokerage side of things to start.
Right. Yeah. So I started that was believe June 2021, and I really started liking it. Started working long hours because I needed the money, and I should actually started loving the job. Like each day when it passed through, I really started getting into it. And from then on, I was a part of a company that grew like 100% each year, and met a lot of good people, learned a lot of stuff, moved a lot of loads, made a lot of.
So, I mean, how
manifold.
would you say your first experience was? Not specifically because of the company, but just into logistics. I mean, how was your first day? Were you shocked at the pace of it, the sounds in the office, or was it fun to you? Was it exciting?
Oh, bro, I was anxious. I'll be quite honest, because I was for day one, and in my head, everything was like, you can't screw this up,
Yeah.
yeah. So I went in, I saw like a lot of people working the first floor. There was like track and trace guys, account, and I believe scheduling department. And when I went in, and there were like 50 people looking at me, I was like, damn, will I make it here? I was really anxious. And then,
Yeah.
when McLeod popped up, I mean, as a system, and I was looking at an Excel sheet, to be honest, and I was like, what the hell is this? I'll never be able to grasp the thing. But, like days passed and everything, I started actually understanding what the job is about. And I believe, I really took all of my qualities I had, all of my talents, and, I started
How did
doing
your
great.
training process go? What was your first role? How did everything start for you? I mean, I highly doubt you got there and they just said, "Here's 10 loads, go broker them."
No, no,
So,
no, of course, no. I had to go through all the ropes. First, I had to, learn how to track loads from the other brokers, and then how to, schedule them if needed. But that was like only for a couple of days. We went through all the software, how do you call that? Software training as well, so I could get, um, acknowledged with TMS. The interesting thing is that like I was hired to source carriers first of all, so I wasn't given DAT and everything, and start slanging freight, which was a great thing for myself. I actually learned how to speak and how to make proper deals with carriers that could
yeah,
run potential lanes.
I mean, take us through that process, but just before we have the whole of our country on our backs for this episode, man. We got like a big turnout. We got Serbia on our backs here, man.
Yeah, I
So,
see. I
I
see.
mean, we're doing it for the country on this episode.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm happy about that. But take me
yeah.
through the process. I mean, what was carrier sourcing like? How did it look for you guys? Because when I got into brokerage, very early on, I decided I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go cold call like 1,000 carriers and see who wants to run certain lanes. And like nobody told me to do that, but I came from being on the carrier side, so I was like, this seems like a logical place to start at brokerage. I mean, was it the same for you, or what were you doing specifically?
Well, specifically, I had all the tools that I needed to source the carriers on specific lanes that I was assigned, and therefore, uh, we got,
Bro, I can't believe the support for
yeah,
our
I
country.
love it. Thank you, guys.
I love it. I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy to be in this country. I'm so happy to represent this country in a positive way and be, a positive voice for Serbia. Because obviously, just not even in a logistics way, but our country. I mean, I grew up in Canada, and whenever I said I'm, from Serbia, I'm Serbian. I was always told like Syria, Siberia, like nobody knows about Serbia, and
No,
we have like a
nobody
lot of
knows.
negative impressions about us from people that have never been here. And then when we get into logistics, people also have negative impressions of us, which bothers me because Serbian quality in logistics is very good. And I think we honestly do it some of the best out of anybody anywhere outside of America. So I'm just
Yeah,
happy to see the turnout, bro, and all the support for
yeah.
this episode.
I mean, it's not just because I'm Serbian, but personally, I believe this is the best country in the world, and I really, truly believe that.
I'm not
Uh,
gonna say that. I'm not gonna go out there and say it because I mean I don't know, bro. But I'm gonna say Serbia has some of the best outsourced, if not the best outsourced in all of logistics. I will say that for sure because I love our
yeah,
outsourcing.
that's something that's actually a really good fact,
Yeah,
especially
okay,
now.
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. I'm just
Let me go
surprised
back
at
to
all the
sourcing.
support, bro. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
take us
basically,
through carrier sourcing and what you did. So basically, your first official role after training.
yeah. So I was given lanes, specific lanes that we had on our that our customers were provided. I'm sorry, man. I'm laughing all the time because these guys.
Killing me, yeah, the crazy
Yeah.
comments.
Of
Guys,
course.
are Pali Svedlo, brate. I got me. I got me.
Yeah. So basically, I was using everything from DAT directory to capacity macro point to just like identify carriers that run certain lanes.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course.
was from then on given a phone, started calling. Had probably like first couple of months, had over 100 cold calls a day. And then I started getting results. I had a couple of good lays going from Ohio to Wisconsin with the great carriers that I actually, I recently called them and I just wanted to see how they're doing. And I think this is a good way to make a really good connections in this business because what I learned about logistics is that it's a never changing. So, it's sometimes you really have to depend on a carrier that you won't find on DAT.
No, but I
And
think honestly, it's a big thing for our industry as a whole because I don't think many brokerages cold call carriers just for the sake of trying to source carriers for certain lanes. And I think most brokers take it and they just post a ghost load. They're like, oh, like I have, Wisconsin to Ohio. And then you call and they say, actually, it's not a real load, but do you want it in the future? And that's such a like lazy way to prospect carriers. And I think cold calling carriers, I mean, I did it myself personally too. It's like a really solid way to find good carriers because you get to feel them out, you get to understand, you get a tone from them. And some carriers you'll talk to for the first minute and be like, I don't want to even work with those people either. So I mean, I think picking up the phone and cold calling carriers as a brokerage makes a lot of sense, and I'm pretty sure not a lot of people are doing that.
yeah, and first of all, and it's also a good way to identify and divide the good carriers from bad ones.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Actually, I won't even lie. I put some carriers on like some list of not to use them after the phone calls.
no, it's
So,
because it was a different. For example, I call a carrier for a specific lane, and when I hear, oh, we are only doing spots, and 2021 it was a good year for a spot. I have
yeah,
nothing
of course.
against making money, but I saw that they don't have strategy in the future. So just like a couple of months later, they started calling me. Oh yeah, Delane, you were calling me about
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, just shows a lack
I
of
mean, yeah, I
perspective.
forgot that you started doing this cold calling carriers in 2021. So I'm sure you just got a lot of like no and hang up. Like,
Well, yeah, but on the contrary, I met like a lot of good people and like a lot of carriers that actually, stick to what they do and have been doing for years. So for me, finding a carrier that's already familiar with my shipper, that's something that everyone needs. I gave them a good rate. They provided me a service
yeah,
I
I mean,
cannot match
you
with
gave them
DAT.
respect when the market was good, and when the market started to be not good, they remember that, because not
Yeah,
a
of
lot of
course.
brokerages were doing stuff like that back then. But okay, so after you got through this kind of entry period into logistics, when did you start actually, into carrier sales? When did you actually start moving some freight?
Well, I believe that, okay, let's say a month later in July, I already started moving some freight, but August was a really good month for me, and I really a lot of good deals, and like I believe that 70% of them were off DAT, which was quite impressive for the whole company, and we identified those good carriers. So right off the bat, a month later, 2 months later, I was always already a very good, in terms of making a lot of GP, creating a good margins for my company and everything. So
I
started.
don't think carrier sales is one of those jobs. I mean, I also did it for a few months, and that was my entry into brokerage. I mean, the longer you do it, the easier it becomes because you end up getting those carriers who take a load, and you always tell them, "Hey, if you ever need a similar load, or if you ever need loads in this area, give me a shout." And after
Yeah,
you start seeing them do a couple loads and they start doing a good job, you start to realize like who the good carriers are, that they over communicate. And carrier sales becomes one of those things where the longer you're in it, it just becomes slowly easier and easier the longer you do it.
it
And
does. It does. Especially if you like continuously work on yourself and learn how to properly adjust which pitch to different carriers, and you just get really a lot of those psychological stuff with them, and
one size
all
does
about
not fit
creating
all,
a.
and every carrier needs to be spoken to differently, and things like that. I mean, what was your first success in your carrier sales journey? What was the first time where you're like, "Oh, I'm pretty good at this"?
Well, it started probably a couple of weeks after I entered. There was a specific lane that we like moved 3 to 5 loads a day, and like I sourced two different carriers for a similar rate. Margins were very good, well, without me going into specific details. But we still
The carrier got paid fairly.
they
It is
did,
what
they
it
did,
is.
of course. But I started like moving like those 5 loads a day with them, and things were going so smooth. Even our customer awarded us even more volume because our service was impeccable. And for me, that was a huge boost to my self-esteem. I was saying, okay, you can do this. And then
Yeah,
after a couple of months, I started becoming probably one of the best brokers in the company in terms of margins and
yeah, in terms of
loads.
performance and
Yeah,
metrics, not
yeah,
just in personal belief. Like,
yeah. But for me, it was all about. It became a lifestyle at that point. I wake up at like 10 a.m. Serbian time, and then I have breakfast, everything. I go into the office at noon Serbian time, and like I'm
yeah,
not
that
done.
takes me. Actually, I had that question written down, so I'll delete it quickly. Let's go over that since you brought it up. How do you like the work hours? I mean, personally, I love it. I enjoy having my morning to myself and slowly waking up and getting to work. But some people obviously don't like it. So I'm assuming you enjoy the work hours.
Well, you know what? When winter comes, snow starts falling down, and you wake up like 7 a.m. and you see all other people going to work, and you know that you can sleep for 5 more hours. That's one of the best feelings
Yeah, I
here.
love this work hours. I wouldn't change it. I mean, I used to wake up at 5 in the morning in Canada, and the fact that I don't have to start work until like noon, 1, 2. I mean, it's pretty nice. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be quite honest. It's difficult sometimes with like all our friends and like family working different schedules. But it's something that I used to. So I really doubt that I could see
could change.
myself working from like 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning again. For me,
Yeah, I
it's
couldn't do it either. But going back to the first position, what was your first failure, man? What was the first time where you just really screwed something up?
well, I remember a specific situation that I had because I was really obsessed with my work.
Yeah,
I'll,
I can't put up the next comments. They're kind of wild, but
yeah, I see. Uh, you
all
know,
right,
at one point, like I was really obsessed, so I was working all the time, and I just finally decided to take one weekend off so I could actually, decompress a bit and rest. And on Saturday, I didn't see the email. There was a pallet left in a truck, and I didn't respond to it. So what happened? I was informed that on Monday morning. I actually saw the Monday morning email that because first of all, I decided to turn off my phone and everything just for one weekend and decompress and stuff. And Monday morning, I open up my email. I see an email from dispatcher that the pallet has been, thrown out. And I was like, no, because customer wanted us to drop it off at a different facility, and it was like it was a carrier with one truck owner up, and I was like, oh my god, this can't be good. He he got rid of it for sure. So I actually called him, and there was like his name was Jose, and he was like, oh yes, Lucky, trying to get you over the phone all weekend, and I was like, did you throw it? No, it's in my backyard. So it saved my life at the end. So everything was,
sorry,
yeah, I
I'm just
think.
letting know we're doing the rapid fire. My partner has arrived, so we're gonna have the quiz show at the end. Just had to let him know. So the guy kept the pallet in his backyard.
He kept the pallet in his backyard, and at the end, it was redelivered, and probably
So he
saved me.
kept the pallet in his backyard, put it back on the truck for you, and delivered it.
Yeah,
Wow, dude.
for 100
I
bucks
think
more. For 100
that's
bucks more, I'll be honest. For 100 bucks
dude.
more.
I think you dodged the biggest bullet in all of logistics, to be completely honest. Because
Yeah,
that pallet should have just disappeared, or something other crazy thing could have happened.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I guess you learned your lesson that if you want to be heavy with the logistics and really make it a career, that you can't turn your phone off on the weekend.
Yeah, that was a hard way for me to find out, but at the end, it's a good job.
I want to try to spread this through the Serbian community. We're trying to remove the word margin and rippers with the word yop. And yeah, so if we can all just start calling them yops, man, that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's the yop movement that we're trying to accomplish in the brokerage community. And also he loaded through the back door. Yeah, I'm like so confused how he got it off the truck in his backyard, like back into the truck. Like,
I'm
also,
not sure. I was really shocked, for me when I just heard that it's in my backyard. I was like, yes, it was yes.
yeah, you don't even ask the questions. You're like, cool. When can you redeliver, bro? I'll pay you $100 both. Like,
Yeah, but I had a really big problem with my superiors, and they told me listen. I remember one of my really still good friends, Ilya from CW, and he's like, he taught me a lot of stuff, and I looked up to him, and he told me, if you are offline over the weekends, and that's the way you roll, that's fine, but this is not a job for you. So
yeah.
I was so scared, because
Yeah, bro. You got your one chance, your one get out of jail free card. Like, I mean,
yeah,
at the
I
same
mean,
time, also like it depends because the company maybe should have some systems in place for that. But at the same time, you probably knew that that was your responsibility, dude, and you just didn't do it. So that it,
chains got
it
messed
falls
up.
back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you wanted to take one weekend off. It had never bit you. It bit you immediately, and now you
Yeah.
know not to do that. But let's
Okay.
move on to your current operation. Where are you, and what are you doing?
Well, yeah, I just recently joined as a carrier sales rep with US Expediters. And I must be quite honest that I really enjoy it here. We're trying to build something big, and we are going to that direction. I like the energy. I like all the colleagues. We're all young, and the owner is also a great guy. Younger. He wants to build something big, and we're all on the same page. So, as of now, everything is going smoothly. I got
How
that
old is the
motivation
company
again.
and how big is the team at the moment?
Well, regarding the carrier sales side, we're still setting up a lot of things, and we're whole brokerage. We're building everything slowly but surely, so it doesn't affect our service with the customers, which I really like. So we're not rushing things, taking to we're going everything organized, and we have around 100 asset trucks, so we got
Okay.
that developed as well.
So
So
what kind of freight are you guys running? I mean, what do you guys specialize in? Or are you just kind of doing a lot of everything?
we're doing a lot of everything. We focus on dry vans and reefers, and you know, also we have some hazmat runs. But slowly but surely, we're gonna expand into everything, I hope.
Okay. I mean, what are your guys' goals for the next 6 to 12 months? Are you guys currently hiring? Or are you guys just trying to, like you said, you're not in a rush. You're obviously not rushing to expand. You guys are doing things correctly. But I mean, what is the next 6 to 12 months kind of looking like for you guys?
Yeah, we're looking to expand and increase our volume by a substantial number. We are currently looking for specific candidates for a customer sales role. I believe we got carrier sales role now. We're looking maybe to add one more guy. And I was sorry, man. I read the comment.
Serbia really like showed up for this episode, and this episode got put together literally 1 hour before it aired, and this is the support we got from our country. So,
Yeah,
I mean, like we already spoke about it. I want to start doing real life videos out here in Serbia. Start going to companies, doing some real life stuff, and seeing the support that the country's kind of giving back to us is really just making me want to accelerate that process. So if anybody knows a camera guy that's based in Serbia that can film stuff for me, like just hit me up. I'm trying to hire somebody.
we'll broker it out. Hit me up
Yeah, I'm trying to broker
later.
out my hiring process here live on the podcast, bro, because I really need a videographer immediately, and we're gonna
Yeah,
start doing some big things out here, man.
yeah. I'll see what I can do for you. You know how they say in our business. Yeah.
Check it out. So, okay, so you guys want to expand? Are you guys running most of the operation in Serbia, or do you guys have like some team over in America? How does that look for you
We
guys?
have a full office, everything in Chicago. We got a couple of yards for our asset trucks and everything.
Oh yeah,
Also,
you guys have the truck, so yeah, obviously,
yeah,
you obviously have a team over there.
yeah. In terms of Serbian office, we just started slowly but surely, because for us it's all about finding a good quality hirings. I like the way you speak of new hirings as signings. For us,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, my
sports.
boss got me into that. Like when I came over here, I started out in carrier sales, and then I slowly transitioned over to recruiting for drivers and for personnel and brokerage. It's just like a whole bunch of recruiting. And he's like, man, I want you to think of every hire as a signing, and I want to sign Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, LeBron. And like he like really like hammered that mentality into me that like we want to make every signing, like a headline, like one of those headline kind of signings. And I think it's a really unique approach to look at hiring process because it kind of made me think like, is this person I'm going to hire, a LeBron James, or are they just kind of like, not at that caliber? And it really switched my mentality into the hiring process, which sounds funny because it's like something so simple, but it goes from this corporate hiring process to just like some kind of like gives you like some hype behind it, like I signed my first broker and I was like, oh man, this is a top level sign. It's like a Wayne Rooney type of signing. And it really changed my whole approach to how I do it. So.
I mean, I think that's a good way to look at it because, in my opinion, I personally always try to, like, acknowledge every person. All of us are humans at the end. So for us,
all right,
really,
I want to actually talk about this too. So I'm assuming you've mentored this person. They learned a lot from you. Take us through your training process. I mean, how many people did you train? Was it part of your job or was it just kind of some random trainings? I mean, how does that look?
in terms of me, like training new brokers, that's what
Yeah,
you're
I'm
asking.
assuming. So did you train some people throughout your career?
Yeah, of course, because we were like in my previous company, we were growing every year by like as 100%. There was a lot of new people coming in, so we didn't have a structure in place to have a specific guy who trained them all. So, and also one of the best things we did was actually, hello,
Oh,
yeah, we went offline for a second. Can you hear me?
yeah, you're good. You're good. I mean, you got that Belgrade internet,
Yeah,
man.
like,
I don't know. We're struggling over here.
no, mine. Thank you very much, bro. Yeah. So basically, when new people come in, we have like a term called like shadowing with the brokers. So like we would get a rep to sit next to us
Yeah,
and
you
like
get one green person sit
and go
next to
through.
one of the best people and just kind of see what. I mean, that's how I learned in logistics as well. Just go sit next to the best
Yeah.
dispatcher.
Well, yeah. I also try to like teach them some stuff which are off the books. For example, like some details. Okay, especially because we hired a lot of people who had experience in sales, but not a lot in logistics.
Yeah, of
They,
course.
they turned out to be one of the best carrier sales I knew. Let
Well, I
me
mean, yeah,
just
there's
do something.
transferable
Sorry
skills
for
and
that.
everything. But I mean, take me through kind of
Yeah.
your process. I mean, what was, your process for training somebody? Was it more just kind of look what I'm doing and ask me questions, or did you start to develop your own kind of process where you're like, this is what you need to learn in this order?
Yeah, well, I went also in really specific details. For example, like apart from all the usual stuff, about rates, about dry vans, reefers, I went to details about telling them, okay, don't lose your time to call a truck that's 150 miles away in Northeast. You can do that always in Idaho, or Utah or something like that. But you can't, don't waste your times on those because he won't pick up. He won't take it. It's too far away from him. And then
Yeah,
and the question arises like, why? Is it because Northeast is stacked? There's a lot of traffic going on. Idaho, if he sees a 250-mile away a good load, he'll deadhead. That's not a
yeah,
problem.
of
So
course.
also, like, also think that's important for them to get that mentality of what is it all about. Get more strategic because at the end, apart from like really having a sales pitch and developing those relationships, it's also about knowing certain details. But for me, one golden rule is that, like, in any sales you are in, people will buy from you if they like you. So
Yeah.
people buy stuff from people they like. If you
Yeah, golden rule. I mean, you can have as long as your product is somewhat okay. I mean, the salesman just has to be a person. And I mean, that's why I really don't even like that word because it's kind of a negative word, right? Like a salesman. But I mean, the way I do business, the way I prefer to do business is with people that are just people, man. I mean, come on the podcast, let's hang out. There's no scripts. I mean, if I'm gonna, do a sponsorship deal with somebody, I just want to do like business with people I enjoy working with and people that aren't when you get a text message like from the driver you hate the most, and like as soon as you see their name come up on your phone, you're like, oh god, like here we go again with this guy. like those are the kind of people that you don't want to do business with. So you are right. I mean, I do business personally with people I want to do business, people that I like. I buy from people, not products. So that's completely true.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we all got bills to pay. It's like really, like always go an extra mile. If there's a like if it's a, there's a quality carrier, and if there's someone, don't be the cheapest. For me, I
I
know
give
that
them
like
extra $50, $100, $200,
yeah,
man, because you're
I had a
you're you're gonna get a lot more in return for that, financial loss up front. 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you're gonna stay working with those people. And you're not gonna have as many headaches and stolen freight and all that nonsense for that extra 50, $100. So
yeah. I mean, it's always a possibility to find a cheaper option on like load
always,
board,
always.
always. But for me, paying a bit more for your service to be impeccable is something, and be a good guy, be a gentleman. Like once in a while, throw in extra $100 over so that you
We
can.
got we got Yoki with the great podcast, but he hits me back after I'm feeling good. He hits me back with, but the guest is better. So I mean, we got. Yeah.
Thank
You're
you, Yoki.
updating me on my own show, but it is your country more than it is mine. Even though we share this country together, I guess you're still the winner in Serbia. But all right, man, I want to get into just before we get into it, some closing statements about your current operation. Are you guys currently hiring, or will you be hiring in the near future? Just in case anybody located in Serbia is watching this and thinking of making some moves.
Yeah, we're definitely always looking for new candidates, carrier, but like carrier sales, yes, more into customer sales now as well. So anyone can hit me up, like, or LinkedIn or anything. And we're gonna expand, and there will be more positions open.
Cool. So keep an
So
eye on
definitely,
Lucky and his operation for hiring within. I'm assuming it's going to be all on site in Belgrade.
yeah, we're looking
On site in
for.
Belgrade. So
I mean, there are going to be hirings in the U.S. as well. I believe. Yeah, but in Belgrade, 100%. So we're looking to expand slowly but
all right.
surely.
Now we got to get into the Serbia part of this. About the next 5-10 minutes, we'll talk about Serbia and the outsourcing scene in Serbia. So Freight Caviar and me filmed a documentary in Serbia a couple months back, which will be releasing pretty soon. And one of the questions that Freight Caviar, Mr. Paul, asked me pretty much like within the first 10 minutes of ever meeting him was, is Serbia known for double brokering? So what do you think about that?
I believe no.
I said the
So
same
in
thing.
terms
Like
of
I
like,
don't like I
I
don't
never,
know. Like we're not accused of
I
that. We
never,
don't do
I
that.
never. Yeah, I maybe like in terms of like Serbian companies that like double broker. I moved like probably over 6,000 loads in my career. So
Yeah.
I'm
No, I
still
mean, like, I'm
there to
really
feel.
hard pressed to think of a single Serbian company that is involved
Yeah,
with double broken. Like, it really just isn't a thing over here. And we're really carrier heavy, anyways. I mean, we don't have that many brokerages to begin with. So, I mean,
yeah,
it was just a
of
funny
course.
question to come out of Freight Caviar, the first 10 minutes of meeting him. And I was trying to explain to him, like, no, we don't do that over here, bro. So I'm glad you share the same opinion and have the
Yeah,
same.
100%, 100%. I never encountered any Serbian company that's double brokering
Yeah,
loads.
we just
Never.
don't have that over here. We just don't do that stuff. But another question from Free Caviar that he asked me is working in American logistics a respected job in Serbia?
Uh, is it a respected job?
Yeah,
Is that
respected in the sense like a status thing. Like, is it a
yeah?
highly respected job? Are people looking at you like, oh, like he has a good job? Or are they looking at you like, oh, this guy with the trucks is, an idiot?
No, I mean, like a couple of years back, not many people knew for this industry as a whole in Serbia.
Yeah.
So eventually, like a lot of companies started expanding, especially with the boom we had in 2021, 2022. And like a lot of people starting, on good salaries in a good company. So I think it's seen upon as a good job to have. I'm
Yep.
speaking for carrier sales, but also being a dispatcher here. If you have a knowledge, it's a job that you'll never. That's what I love about logistics is that if you're good at it, you'll never be jobless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
there's
say,
a
oh,
wealth of
Christmas
opportunity.
you work, New York, New Year you work and everything. Yeah, but look at that as a positive thing.
Yeah.
You will always have work, and that's something that's like
Hey,
really
and
important.
also the funny thing with all the Serbians who like say like, "Oh, you guys miss all the Serbian holidays." Like, yeah, but we get the American ones off. It's not like we don't work on American Christmas. We don't work on American Thanksgiving. So, I mean, we just switched up our holidays. We still get some holidays. So. But
No,
I
I
mean, you
mean,
can get into a taxi, man, with a random old guy in a taxi. He's gonna know what a dispatcher does in Serbia. Like, I
yeah,
mean, that's like very common things.
yeah. Well, like everything in life, you win at some, you win some, you lose some. I mean, also, I think a lot of Serbian companies are quite lenient when like the big Serbian holidays come up. They allow a lot of people to work from home, to be with their families, especially those with kids and who are married and stuff. So I don't see that as a big issue. But
Yeah,
sometimes I miss it, to be honest.
I want to get into one thing that personally bothers me about how outsourcing is viewed from the American side and from the North American side. How did logistics change your life? I mean, were you living in your own apartment before logistics? Or I mean, how much has being in American logistics as an outsourced employee changed your life in a positive way?
It changed my life in a lot of ways. In terms of I I was able to start paying my rent. After the whole problem I had before, but it just like really kind of also gave me insights that I never had before. I started like learning a lot about America as a whole, but in terms of whole process, it's just like a
Is this
knowledge
like
that
a joke? Like, is
you
this an
really
inside
no one
joke that
can
I'm
take.
missing? Is this like Sony camera joke, like some kind of like
Well,
nickname or
Sony
like?
camera. Yeah, I'll be quite honest. Yeah, I was. Yeah, it is an internal joke with colleagues
Yeah,
from my previous companies. We had a couple of
yeah.
those,
I just wanted to make sure.
Sony camera. Yeah, and I'm the
Yeah,
guy who, when they asked for about the best broker in the world, I used to, and I still do sometimes, answer my phone. Yeah, this is Lucky, probably the best broker in the world. That's part of
yo,
my sales.
honestly, I won't even lie. I won't even lie. Like on a serious note, like because I used to be like a dispatcher and a carrier. I swear I talked to you once and you said that to me, and I made fun of you in my company group chat, bro. Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm not even
You
joking.
really
I
see.
literally remember typing probably the best broker in the world and like just a bunch of laughing emojis in the company chat. Like I definitely talked to you on the phone before.
Did you take the load at the end?
No, never, bro.
Well, someone did,
Yeah, somebody did. But I mean, okay, man, quickly, just before we hop into like the
Yeah,
last couple things here. I mean, being an outsourced employee in American logistics has improved your life positively, correct?
yeah, of course.
It's allowed you to have your rent is paid on time. You're able to go out to the movies if you want. You're able to go to the bars if you want. I mean, you're able to provide for your family in any capacity, and it's just offered you a much better standard of living, compared to what
Yeah,
you
it
were
is,
doing
and
before.
yeah, and it's not a job that you need a college degree for, For so if you have it in yourself, if you have that, like outlook, and if you have that sales capacity, you can learn the ropes real quick. You don't need a college degree. It's not like
Yeah, you
it's not
just need
physical.
English and the
You
ability to
just
use the computer and the ability to want to work really hard to be successful.
Yeah, and if you have that, it can change your life. It
Yep.
can really can.
And on
So
a
yeah.
closing sentences about outsourcing in Serbia, what's your general opinion on the quality of Serbians in the logistics community?
Well, I have this kind of outlook on that. So let's say 7 or 8 years ago, maybe five, I heard the stories. A lot of people were like outsourcing to save costs, which is like normal and makes sense in the economical way. But because let's say, because we got so many companies now here, you already have people, and a lot of people who worked in this industry, dispatchers, brokers, for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And apart and and the price of labor went up a bit in terms like substantially, because now you're having a great experienced person who can fill that void that you have for still a less, like for less money than in US. But
Yeah, I
not
mean, but you have to agree with me, like the rates for the outsourced employees in Serbia skyrocketed back in the day, and then they plummeted very hard like 1 or 2 years ago. And we're kind of at the point where only the absolute best of the best are making very good money. And we're kind of back to that period where it was at the start, where like the salaries reflecting the amount of work and stress that the logistics community provides. I feel like the salaries could be a little bit better, but the market's down and the salaries are down. So I think we kind of are feeling that here a little bit too.
I mean, I think a lot of people forget, and I don't speak a lot about it. We are in a freight recession currently, and we've been for some time.
Yeah, almost
So
3 years.
yeah, and so I speak with people. Oh, the rates are bad, and like this is bad and this is bad. And I was like, come on, man. I
Just
mean,
be happy you have a job, dude. I mean, that's like what
yeah,
I say.
it's a recession, and if you're good at it, you're still gonna make a decent amount of money. It's not like it
Hey,
was like a couple of years ago.
logistics is one of those things, man, where you can make as much as you want depending how hard you want to work and what you want to do with it. And I mean, I think that this podcast is a great testament to that, because this is just something I do on the side. It's a passion project for me. I don't have to be doing this podcast. I don't have to edit videos every day. I don't have to be sitting here with you. I mean, I could go sit on my couch and watch TV, but I choose
Yeah,
to be here. And I think that a lot of people, especially in Serbia, they put a lot of that guy got lucky, that guy got lucky, that guy got this, that guy got that. And then they don't look at themselves, be like, well, what are you doing to improve yourself when you go home from your job? What are you doing in logistics to improve your skills, to improve your connections? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you posting? Are you talking to people? Are you doing anything to improve your situation? Are you going to do your, 9 to 5 job, going home and forgetting about it? You can't have it both ways. You can't
of course.
do the bare minimum and expect the absolute most amount of money to come to you. And I think that Serbians really have an issue with that. Like, not obviously every single one of them, but there's a lot of negative stuff going on around our communities. So.
No, you know what? I mean, one thing that,
Boom, lucky got lucky, bro.
there's one thing I really truly believe is, and I learned from a guy who was in this business for like 15 years. He was one of my mentors and still a close friend to me. And he once told me, "Good times don't last, bad times don't last in this business." So when I understood when the recession happened and it still is going on, I just like found the new ways how this work can be done differently. It's just like it's you learn something every day.
Yeah,
Basically, you learn
if you
something every
want
day.
to, of course.
So yeah, of course, you have to look at that way. If you look at this as a job from 9 to 5, and you come in, you make a couple of calls, you clean the board that you have, and those assignments that you have, you will never progress. You have to, you have to go deep into it. Start
Yeah.
learning new stuff, meeting
I
new
think it's
people.
a great place to close the serious part of this podcast. Time to get into the fun stuff. Serbian outsourcing is some of the best in the world, if not, I would say absolutely the best in the world. I know so many people that work in the American market in Serbia, and I hope to keep meeting people like you. For example, I made a post, you showed up, and now I'm sitting and talking. I'm going to see you on Sunday. So there's
Yeah,
still lots of people in Serbia that I haven't met and that I want to keep meeting. And I'd say to anybody looking to implement outsourcing in their operation, this is definitely one of the strongest countries to look at. And just the overall attitude of people out here. I mean, we're just some cool people, dude. We're just working with our trucks. And
most
that's it.
definitely.
But all right, man, I want to get into train and rail transportation with you. So I got one question regarding train and rail transportation. It's going to be, how many chuggas come before choo choo?
What the? Okay, I'm trying not to curse. Like I don't.
Yeah, you can swear. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you can swear if you want. I mean, it's fine. I mark everything explicit, but I like, when people like chugga chugga choo choo, like, that thing.
Yeah,
How
not
many
really.
chuggas do we say? Oh, you never heard of it? All right, maybe we just don't do that in Serbia. Maybe we'll just, like in, there's this thing. It's like chugga chugga choo choo. Like, it's just like a joke, bro.
Yeah,
but
okay.
some people use different amounts of chugas. Anyways, moving on from that question, I will never ask that to a Serbian again. We got the most famous question on the podcast, and it's regarding chicken wings. It's called the chicken wing choices. And this is also actually, now that I'm thinking about it, kind of a bad question for Serbia because our chicken wings are pretty not good. You know, drums and flats. You know the difference between drums and flats?
Enlighten me.
No, like, you know, like the one chicken wing is like a circle with one bone,
Okay,
and the
okay, I
other.
understand.
Yeah, okay. So, do you like the drums or the flats? The flats are the ones with two bones, like the thin ones.
Are you gonna get mad at me now? I'm not a big fan of chicken wings, bro.
Yeah, I mean, Serbia, honestly, like we have good chicken wings, but we don't put sauce on them. Like they're not American style chicken wings, and I've been complaining about that for like 4 years. But all right, I'm just gonna
Not a
skip
big-
this question too, bro. This is not made for Serbia. I'm gonna ask you some
I
Serbian
think we
questions.
could have a beef here, or something like that.
Sorry, these comments are wild, but I can't even show like half of them. But I'm gonna ask you some Serbian questions for 2 minutes, and then we're gonna hop into rapid fire with Lev. So
Sure.
Sarma or Pasul?
Sarma.
Okay, that's. I don't
Always.
know. I wouldn't pick that, honestly. To be honest, I'd go the other way.
Always, bro.
I got a good one. Kaimak or Unabes?
Kaimak.
Nah, bro. See, I'm picking Unabes every time. Shit, man. I can't think of. All my questions are food related because that's like my favorite thing in the world is just eating food in Serbia. Okay, actually, I got one final closing question, Serbian related. Best restaurant you've eaten in Serbia?
The best restaurant, my personal favorite, is Careva Chuprija in Senjak. For me, that's.
You're gonna have to send me the Google of that because I can't pronounce that one, bro.
Will do, man.
What is that? That's Belgrade based?
Yeah, Belgrade based, yeah.
All right, I guess we're going there on Sunday, bro. Sunday plans have just been made, so done. All right, man. I'm gonna hand you off to Lev to run rapid fire, a quiz show. Lev is the former founder of Everest and current president of Alpha SR, a staffing agency, and he can actually help Serbians get jobs. So we gotta hit him up about that. Anyways, enjoy your time with Lev and rapid fire.
Thank you, Alex.
Hey, Lucky. Nice to meet you. A pleasure. I wanted to tell you that I've really had a great time listening to your interview with Alex Bates, or as some people call him, Master. I won't fill in the other one. I was just reading the comments and I think they're hilarious. But anyway, we're gonna play 2 quick games here to get to know you from a little bit of a different side. Part of rapid fire. The first game is either or, so you're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have 5 seconds to make a decision. Are you ready?
Okay, shoot.
All right.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Alex, ready? Let's roll. Would you rather hang out with Hunter Biden or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump all the way.
Would you rather be a carrier rep or a dispatcher?
Carrier rep always.
Baked potatoes or mashed potatoes?
Baked potatoes.
Blondes or brunettes?
Blondes.
Tall or short?
Tall.
Okay, perfect. Calling or texting?
Calling.
Blondes, DAT or truck stop?
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
DAT, D-A-T, or truck stop?
DAT.
Google or Microsoft?
Google.
Calling or texting?
Calling.
Free lunch or free dessert?
Free lunch.
Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Would you rather be on a dating show or survival show?
Probably dating show. I don't know.
Are you a night owl or an early bird?
Night owl.
Volvo or Freightliner?
Volvo.
Belgrade or Novi Sad?
Belgrade.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. You've passed the first half of our show. Second half, the game's called First Thought. You have 5 seconds to spit out whatever comes to your mind. Whatever comes to your mind when I say the following. You ready?
Sure, let's go.
Favorite type of rejected freight?
You gotta repeat that. My internet is a bit off.
Favorite type of rejected freight? Commodity.
Okay.
What would you say?
Bro, that's like
I
the
would
dumbest
say,
question
I
I
know,
think I've ever heard in my entire life.
ballot of paper.
All right. All right. Trump. What comes to your mind when I say
You
Trump?
can leadership.
Best person that you have mentored?
Best person that I have mentored. George.
Addiction.
Your internet is like really like bugging, so I really can't. I didn't hear the whole question. Sorry, man.
Addiction.
Cigarettes.
Favorite song?
Road to Mandalay from Robbie Williams.
Oh, love it. Love it. Favorite Serbian food?
Sarma.
What's your least favorite country? What's the country that you hate most?
Oh man, I'm not sure if I should say it out
You
loud.
should. You should. It's the Alex Bates podcast. You have to. You
Okay,
might not love me back.
only because of logistics. I love the culture side, but
You don't have to
Armenia.
make excuses. Just what country do you hate the most?
Let's say Armenia.
That's a pretty shitty one. Yeah. Celebrity crush. Who's your celebrity crush?
Oh, I know, man. Probably like younger Monica Bellucci or something like that. Yeah.
You have good taste. Good taste. Tall blonde and Monica Bellucci. Who's your favorite historical figure?
Favorite historical figure? Yeah, for me that's like Emperor Constantine from Byzantium Empire. Actually, yeah, Roman Empire. So,
Very well. What's your drink of choice?
coffee.
Favorite video game?
Medieval Total War 2.
What is your favorite? What is your favorite logistics company outside of the one that you work at that you think is just solid?
Oh, I know. Sorry, man. Nothing pops up to my mind.
All right, all right. And last one. What is your biggest regret?
By not joining logistics earlier, to be honest, and this is not marketing, it's really something I will.
Love it. And so thank you for completing the second half of the show. But I have some questions for you. Just want to wanted to ask you, what is the strangest thing about Serbia?
Well, the strangest thing about Serbia is like, in my opinion, is that like a lot of people, like complain, are disunited between themselves, and it's like easy to pick a fight on like about some stupid stuff. But when a tragedy hits, when it's tough, everyone's together. That's something I really love about my country. If you're down and if you're unwell, people in Serbia, your close friends will help you while like nowhere else. And that's something that sometimes is terrifying because you can expect the worst for some people, but when everything comes up, and when the problems are there, everyone is together. That's something I love, but it's also strange, isn't it?
No, I mean it's fantastic. I've recently discovered Serbia for myself, and I've done a lot of outsourcing in various countries, and I think I think it's the best one out there. It's the best bang for your buck. It's the best talent, and the people are fantastic. And I can't wait to come and hang out with Mr. Alex Bates and some others. And we're very glad to have a footprint in Serbia. But what is the weirdest thing that you have discovered about America and Americans?
Well, there are like, especially Serbia, I'll be quite honest, due to some historical stuff, there are a lot of prejudice. But, like speaking to a lot of people, for me, it was, how big hearted they are at the end, and there are like a lot of good people out there, especially, some, like some dispatchers that I talked to for a long time. They were like running some lanes for me from Arkansas down to Nashville. And they were like they were older guys and everything, but they were like they had some special energy, and I really wish one day I'll be able to go out there and see them. So they're like, there are a lot of good people, like everywhere in the world. So for me, it was, about it wasn't for me. It was strange that I can actually bond with someone who's like, thousands of miles away from me.
Well, which Americans do you like most in terms of region or in terms of state? Do you like, the Southerners? Do you like the guys in the Midwest, East Coast?
Carriers that I love most and people working with them is the companies that have farms within their name. In my opinion, in my experience, always a good rate, always a perfect service. And we were making jokes about it before. If a company has, for example, I don't know, Johnson Farms, you take that carrier, he's good. I don't know really whether anyone else had a similar experience. But yeah, usually I also love to work, from like I had a lot of Boston good carriers out of, I don't know, Kentucky. Big shout out to them. And BIH Express, I love those guys. And a lot of, but for me, Nashville is an area, some great carriers out of there, people. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. And one last question for you. I don't know if you're married or not, but if you were to have a freight themed wedding, what would it look like?
I believe I wouldn't have it, but like probably like a lot of gongs going around and everything, king of margins, crown and stuff, something like that.
I love it. I love it. Listen, thank you so much for us. It's been to know you from a little bit different of a prism, and I look forward to connecting with you. So thanks so much. And Alex, thanks for the opportunity again.
Hey, thanks, Lev. See you later, bro. Hey, man, I just want to say, like a special thank you for making this on a short notice, and just a thank you to like everyone in our country, dude, because I've been here for like 4 years and I've always felt welcome here. I mean, half of my family was born and raised here, so obviously I have roots here. And I don't plan on ever leaving Serbia. This is home for me. And I just want to say thank you to you and everyone in our community, especially the logistics community, who's, made me feel very welcome and at home in this country. I'm going to continue to advocate for our country in the American market because we have some of the strongest outsourcing. We have just principles behind us. I mean, you're a really good proof as to the quality of people that we have in our country and in our community. And just thank you again for making the show happen, man.
You're welcome, Alex. It was great being here.
Awesome podcast. Just the most fun I've got to have on this podcast. Like, I'll be completely honest, this show, like, this is our country, bro. Like, they showed up for us for our show with no marketing. There was like no notice of this show and the turnout. Like, it makes me emotional, man, because I've been trying to make content for this country and be a voice of Serbia for a long time now, and it's just like really like an emotional experience to see how many people showed up to support you and our country, in this community. So
yeah, man, to the moon. I really hope that you're gonna, create a great thing out of all of this, So and I love, I wasn't really aware how it's going. I really had a lot of fun,
Yeah, man. Honestly, like just the turnout, just the support, and I mean, we're not gonna stop. We're only looking to make real life content bigger and better and to keep, being a voice for Serbia in the logistics community. And I just can't wait to see where it goes, man. I can't wait to see you Sunday. There's an open invitation. I'm coming to Belgrade Sunday. So if anybody's watching this, we're going to do like an open meetup, I guess, like wherever. We're just going to figure it out. Like just DM Lucky. Lucky will set it up. I'll be in Belgrade around 1 or 2 in the afternoon. We'll stay for a while and, we'll just have a meetup and just really thank you, man, for showing up and reaching out and making the time to be here. And bro, I'll see you Sunday. That's the end. Like Serbia is the country, bro. It's our country. So I'm really happy.
Best in the world, bro. Best in the world.
Take it easy. Keep an eye on Lucky and his operation. I'm sure they're going to grow. And just thank you again to everybody in Serbia for supporting us.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy, bro. That wraps up podcast episode 52 with Lazar, Lucky, Pavlovic. Thank you to everybody in Serbia for supporting everything that we're doing. And have a good night, everybody.